In the year 845 AD, a fierce female Viking named Hilda led a raiding party to the city of Paris. Hilda was known throughout the Viking community for her bravery and cunning, and her raids were feared by many. Hilda and her crews sailed their longboats up the Seine River, determined to reach the heart of the city and claim as much treasure as possible. The Parisians were caught off guard by the Viking attack, and Hilda and her warriors quickly gained the upper hand. The streets of Paris ran red with blood as Hilda and her Vikings battled the defenders of the city. Hilda fought with ferocity, her sword flashing in the sunlight as she cleaved through the enemy ranks. The Parisians were no match for the fierce Viking warrior, and they soon began to fall back. With the city in chaos, Hilda ordered her Vikings to loot and plunder at will. They ransacked the homes of the wealthy and took all the gold and silver they could carry. The Vikings even entered the churches and took the holy relics, angering the priests and inspiring the Parisians to fight back with even greater vigor. Despite the fierce resistance, Hilda and her Vikings held the city for several days. They took as much treasure as they could carry, and then set fire to the buildings and sailed back up the Seine, their longboats loaded with riches. The raid on Paris was one of Hilda's greatest triumphs, and her reputation as a fearsome Viking warrior only grew with each passing year. She continued to lead her Vikings on daring raids, striking fear into the hearts of all who heard her name. Years later, Hilda passed away, but her legend lived on. She was remembered as a fierce female Viking who had fearlessly raided one of the greatest cities in the world, and taken its riches for her own. And so, her story was told and retold, inspiring generations of Viking warriors who would follow in her footsteps.